that lead to it, whether it's poverty or something else. Recently, I've started getting art books or magazines to start collaging some things, because to be honest with you, I have a little bit of arthritis in my hand, so writing and drawing constantly starts to hurt, so sometimes I do a lot of cut and paste. So I have an Andy Warhol workbook that I've been just doing stuff in. I think about my childhood and stuff like that, because sometimes researching politics gets so depressing that I'm like, I better think about something positive. Okay, Bruce Lee movies my father used to take me to. Commander McBride on the Underdog show, or the Gopher Indians or something. I'm like, you gotta go back. The pleasure I had of my Mr. Spock parachute jumping action figure. So it's like, think about the good things, because you get too caught up in it, you start wallowing. We go on to the next one. So this is a continuation of the things that you see. These lines appear, they're like extensions. They connect on the scroll from my face, the portrait of my face I showed you guys earlier, all the way to my son. And this is about 60 feet distance between the two. And what it does is it shows my anxieties about raising a child in a society that is in a perpetual state of war constantly. And what do you do? What do you say? How do you process that? Do you tell a kid this is how you deal when someone pisses you off? Or do you try to do the MLK approach or something like that, considering the situation, considering the leaders that we have? So a lot of times that kind of stuff I start writing about. Anytime I draw a picture of President Obama with his head to the back, it's because he did something that really pissed me off. Whether it's drone strikes on innocent civilians, whether it's deregulation to certain things that affect all of us, I get angry at him too. He's not exempt from how I do my research. Now, this is me with Adam West, who played Batman. Here's the ironic part about this, because now we'll get into the intersectionality between pop culture and this. Years ago, I noticed that sometimes on the scroll, I'll start writing and drawing about something from childhood. Just make me feel better and break up the monotony of just, oh, the government did this, oh, this happened, that happened. So a close friend of mine, he's sitting right there in the back, Joseph Jones, best friend of mine from college. And I came up with the idea, get the scroll, roll it up to a certain section, and transport it to one of these sci-fi conventions or any situation or scenario and get someone to sign it. So this was an opportunity. I'm like, it's Adam West, Batman. I'm going to get Batman to sign it. That'd be kind of cool. Which my mom loved. She was like, that's going to make it worth more money. I said, okay, we'll see. So some of the people are really sweet and really nice, and he was there, and he was like, oh, wow, I'm on this too? And I'm like, yeah, man, it's fine. I said, trust me, it breaks up my monotony remembering how cliche the TV show was back then. Trust me. Relaxes me a little. You get the next one. This is me with Leonard Nimoy, who played Mr. Spock from Star Trek. This is with the scroll. He went to my high school class of 1948. And so, when I've met him a few times before he died. He spoke at my graduation too. I'm not going to say we were friends. But every time I saw him, he remembered me. And I'm like, hey! The ironic part is, every single time I have a conversation with him, we never talk about Star Trek. Because he was an amazing photographer in his own right. Absolutely amazing. I would ask him about that before I would ask him about anything else. So that was him signing the scroll, and he wrote "Live long and prosper." And so that was really cool. And I've always been a fan of Star Trek because it's such an idealized version of what the potential of what the future can be. So I was like, you know, what other thing can you imagine of a positive future? So I was like, let me pay attention to that when I was a kid, the reruns and all that kind of stuff. I only like the original show. I didn't like any of the other stuff, but so that's how I met him. I met Governor Patrick at a political fundraiser, and he signed it. And this was before he left office. And again, I transported it. He saw it. Then we get into a long, drawn-out conversation about some of the things that he's concerned about in the world and all these other things. And he said, you know, you should run for office. And I remember saying to him, yeah, maybe one day, I don't know, I'm a little scared because it is dirty. I want to be a politician like him, or someone that's a little bit more moderate than some of the stuff that's out there, but I don't know if I can do it. I debate it all the time. Move to the next one. All right, here I met, again, kids don't have a clue, former pro wrestling champ Bruno Sammartino from the 1960s. He saw it, and he had seen that I had drawn him while he was at this autograph thing, and he was like, oh my God, and I was writing about steroids and all these things that hurt kids, and again, I'll go on these different trajectories about pop culture. And he was like, oh, can I sign? Can I sign? I was like, yeah, you're on, it's yours. Valentino. I was like, meeting him made me regret that my father's dead, because my dad loved pro wrestlers like that from like the 60s and stuff. So I was like, oh, God, I wish my father was here to see that. So, the next one. All right, so I also met the $6 Million Man. And again, the most randomest situations that it becomes, oh, I'm going to bring it because this guy is there. So I was like, okay, he was very nice and very cool. So that's another person. This Faith Reingold, I met her, amazing, amazing artist and quilter. I regret that I didn't have it with me in the opportunity that I did meet her, but it was an honor. When history books are written about African American artists, she's going to have a major, major role in it. So I was very, very honored to meet her in person. I was like, I'm going to include her no matter what in my presentation. I wanted to bring this piece in. It's a little bit blurry. This was former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright. I went to JFK UMass at a book signing to get her to sign it, take a look at it and sign it as well, because I had done a section of the scroll about powerful women in politics, how much I respect them, and my hope that someone like Hillary Clinton would be president. And Madeleine Albright absolutely refused to see it, touch it, or look at it. So I know everyone here, or some people in here may have had that experience of seeing a person talking what you think is talking to themselves in the street, and you're like, oh my God, is this person crazy or something wrong with them? That was me when I was in the parking lot afterwards. When I left, I was in the parking lot yelling to myself, Madeleine Albright ain't nobody, I can't stand Madeleine Albright. I'm like, people must, and I occurred to me, I'm like, people must think I'm crazy because I'm standing out here yelling at this woman and I'm by myself. But I was so angry and I'm like, don't nobody like Madeleine Albright anyway. So, I don't know why the slide got a little messed up, but I stayed true to that. That wasn't deliberate like I'm sticking it to her now. That's one of her. We go on to the next one. But luckily, at that time, when I went back in to get something, Michael Dukakis and his wife were there, and he was like, can I take a look at it? So I was like, yeah, sure, Michael Dukakis. But it was pretty funny. So that I didn't have enough film in the camera to take any more pictures after that one. I got to meet, Captain Kirk, he saw it, nicest guy. I was surprised because of his reputation, but I got to meet him and I was like, oh my God, we got the captain of the Enterprise doing it. So you actually get to see the size, scope, and scale. Now, if I were to estimate where it's at to the beginning of that, including the other ones I have been working on, I would estimate about 3 miles in its entirety. If you look at this end here, that's another 3 that I've yet to get to. So this is, again, from 2003 till now. So he loved it. He was very positive. He was very supportive. He was intrigued. And again, my best friend had to help me because it was raining outside, so we had to carefully transport it and cover it and all these other things because it's like a security measure to it. Yes. There was one, Michelle Nichols from Star Trek. She signed that one there, so that was really cool. She's very, very nice. As a matter of fact, years ago, when I met her, she actually did a guest speaker video presentation for the MECO students at Lincoln Seminary. So I got to film her speaking to the MECO students, even though, this was ad competent on me. She was like, I'll tell you kids whatever you want. And she says, oh, good luck at school, and I love you, and care about your kids, and all this, even though I didn't meet you. And I had them presented at MECO graduation, so she's like one of the nicest people. You can go to the next one. There's me and Jill again. We're here with John Amos, who played James on Good Times, but he also played Kunta Kinte in Roots. And we had a major, major conversation meeting him. And there was a lot of enthusiasm, because I'm like, oh my God, it's Kunta Kinte, James from Good Times. Such a typical TV show and movies from my childhood, so you can move on to the next one. So he signed it here to Shea, thank you for keeping our history intact. John Amos, Kunta Kinte. Now that one was the one where when I called home, kind of Virginia, my mother was like, oh my God, he thought he was dead! Oh my God, he got him! So, his character died on Good Times. He's still alive. Oh my God! So, every once in a while I'll call her or my brothers or something like that, and we'll have a conversation. They go, and then they'll give me suggestions like, why don't you go get your Pope to sign it? That'd be kind of cool. It doesn't work that way. He's going to be like, all right, I'll sign it. We'll go to the next one. More of the recent stuff I've been doing, I've been working more and more on self-portraits, but also in my sketchbooks, cutting, pasting, and collaging. Some of the quotes I hear people say challenging Black Lives Matter, some of these other things that are about high crimes and misdemeanors in terms of how our government treats us, and how shaky civil rights are for people of color, no matter what age, because this little boy is like 12 years old to me, right? So on a more serious note, that's some of the things that I continue with. There's another sketchbook thing I did dealing with the stereotype of Mike Brown, that he's this deadly, dangerous person, and a lot of things that stereotypes and stuff I started putting together, and I realized I started gluing them together and putting them together in my sketchbooks, but also in some of my lesson books as reminders about some of the things that are going on in the world. This is a watercolor I did of Maya Angelou. I'm starting to get back into painting more, especially because I teach it this semester, that I'm getting back into it more. But I enjoy it with the students. Sometimes I do demos and things like that, and the kids will see it. Or I kind of work with the kids on some of the things that they're doing. This is my sketchbook portrait of Donald Trump as soon as he got in. I started a book just dedicated to him and policies and decisions that he makes. So I will cut, paste, glue, and just start putting so many things together. And go, oh, this is for you, Mr. Trump. And just go into it, because I'm always curious about the voter base, his voter base that's still loyal to him at this point. I'm like, short of getting a pistol and shooting some of them in the head, why are they still loving him? So I'm still asking that question and starting to continually create more visual elements to go with how